I'm Lauren from Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Universe fan show, part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other incredible geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Well, if you watched the video podcast, you saw me hit the wrong button as I was changing pages in my stream deck there. So my apologies, everyone. Welcome to episode 516 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. I'm Chris, and we're recording this live on Thursday afternoon, February 16th, 2023. We have bypassed and gotten through Valentine's Day season, gentlemen. It's over, and if you believe the wise words of the Lex and Terry morning radio show, we have now officially entered dating season again. So for those folks out there that are single and wanting to mingle, or just wanting to mingle in general, we are back in dating season.
Is it a faux pas to take a first date on Valentine's Day?
I would
Pardon
say
my
no.
French.
Side note, this is Willie D. Nelson. I didn't get a chance to introduce him there. He's with us today. And of course, Mr. Anthony Bachman.
We're also post-Super Bowl.
Yes, Superb Al.
Oh, yeah, that did happen
everyone
too.
get to meet the Superb Al?
Yeah. And once again, Patrick Mahomes is going to Disneyland, bitch.
It's true. So
That kid is unstoppable.
going back to Willie's question of, is it wrong to take a first date out on Valentine's Day? Is it someone you've known beforehand? Is it someone like you guys have been friends and then you've decided, hey, we're going to try this thing? Or is it just like your Tinder date?
Let's go with Hinge. Let's go with Hinge.
It's your Hinge date.
Yeah.
Now I'm going
I
to
forget
age
which one
myself
where the
here because
where
I've
the
never
girl messaged you first. Is that
It's
Bumble?
I have no idea.
That's Bumble.
I never
Hinge is
used
the-
it, but yeah.
Hinge is the app that's meant to be deleted. Hulu runs commercials for that thing all the time.
I never used any of these apps, so it's all Greek to me. I'm an old man who's
watches
been in a
commercials on
relationship for over a
Hulu.
decade at this point in time. So
I watch Hulu. The league's on Hulu.
it's
Yeah,
true.
but I ain't got commercials on Hulu.
I bought the
I do.
entire season on Vudu, and it was on the entire series on Vudu for like $20 at one point.
Oh, the entire season?
should.
Or
Entire
series?
series. We're rewatching it
should.
off and on right now. I
Though my
greatly
lady
enjoy it.
hates it.
I
I just
enjoy
finished
boxing.
my rewatch of all 7 seasons.
Forever unclean.
Forever unclean.
I didn't mean for an echo to happen, but all right.
It
I didn't
happens.
mean for the echo to have an echo either.
But going back
Willie
to
Nelson, forever
It's
unclean.
true. Going back to your point, Willie, if it's a first date off of someone you've just met off of a dating app, I would think Valentine's Day would be an odd way to start things out because
Yeah.
it'd be a bitch to get a seat anywhere probably if you're going out to eat, which is one of the traditional first dates is to go get food or something like that.
I mean,
It is a weird jumping off point. That's all
Yeah.
I will say.
what I used to do for like first dates was apparently genius. I didn't even think about it. We go go disc golfing.
There you go.
Then we go to Ham's, which was a local like sports bar place because they got some dank ass bacon cheese fries.
Okay, solid.
Which Ham's is now extinct right now. They went all out last year,
Damn.
sometime last year.
Willie's going to have to get a new move. What are you going to replace hams with in your perfect first date scenario?
I guess making bacon cheese fries myself.
Oh, there you
Make-
go.
You see,
Bacon
Ham's did
cheese
it
fries,
right. They
making
used
bacon
waffle
cheese
cut
fries.
fries.
Ooh, man, waffle
So it was like a
fries
little
are good.
plate of cheese and bacon, and you dip it in some ranch, and
Going back to your question, I would argue that for starting up a new relationship, Valentine's Day is still off season for dating season, so you don't do it. And for those that are unfamiliar, there was a show I listened to for a very long time. It was on in Morgantown for ages, where I lived when I was in college and stuff like that. When I first got out of school, it was the Lex and Terry morning show, and they always had a joke that was between Thanksgiving to Valentine's Day. If you're not in a relationship, you don't start one because it's a pain in the ass in that time if you start a relationship because of, okay, well, we've been dating for like a week. What are boundaries here? Am I going with you? We have that awkward conversation about Christmas. What's the right kind of Christmas gift to give you? What's the right thing to do for New Year's? What's the right thing to do for Valentine's Day? No, just go off season until after Valentine's Day, and then you can start dating season up again.
Chris, I know the title of it is ill-fitting of this, but listen to the song by Mungo Jerry, In the Summertime. If your daddy's poor, or if your daddy's poor,
Okay.
do what you feel. If her daddy's rich, take her out for a meal.
I mean, I guess that works too. I will say, in my single days, not that I really dated a ton, I did sort of follow the dating season rules because there was always that weird ambiguity right around those time frames. If it was someone new you just start date, you're like, yeah, I'm not really quite sure how we divvy these things up or what the right thing is here to do because it's awkward. Like, I've known you for like 3 weeks. I'm not really going to take you to Thanksgiving, and it's awkward if you take me to your family's Thanksgiving. No, a Friendsgiving thing you could get away with, but...
Yeah, or you could just say, hey, I'll see you after your family or something.
I mean that also works too, but it still leads to an awkward conversation early on in a new relationship.
It's not awkward to say, hey, this is my plans. Yeah, when I'm done with them, and we can figure something out, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. I
Just talk with the
used to
person.
believe in that concept of dating season is you just don't start something new during that time period if it's off season. It's a lot easier on you.
Or do.
I mean,
I say there ain't no wrong time to start anything. That's Willie's rules.
Willie's rules. Is this going to be a new segment? Hashtag Willie's rules on the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. He's thinking.
No, it's just called because I'm just Willie's right all the time, so it doesn't matter.
Oh no!
Wow.
No, Willie, no.
Willie, I think you're just stupid.
That's fair. Then the whole Mungo Jerry thing, that song, that was just a joke. All right, so calm down. No, seriously, but just do what you feel. Like what feels right. Just do that.
Hey, as long as no one's getting hurt, you do what you want, is what I say.
Communication.
True. Communication is key.
It is, but when things first start out, there's always that awkward of how do I properly communicate this so it's not misconstrued and things like that. Now, let's also bear in mind, it's been a long time since I've been in a brand new relationship. Like I said, I've been with my now wife for almost a decade now. So,
yeah.
All right. So, I mean, it's going to be awkward regardless in a brand new relationship. It doesn't matter. What you do is you're going to be nervous. Just who cares? Like, nervous every time. It doesn't matter. Just what feels right. Hey, make them laugh, and who cares?
There you go. That's your wise wisdom from Willie. Wise Willie wisdom. There you go. 3 W's.
Make people laugh all the time, all day, every day.
Yeah, that's the Ralph Garman motto. Make them laugh, make them breakfast.
A phrase I've always said is making a girl laugh drops panties faster than a big old dick any day.
It's a really long phrase.
That is a long phrase.
But it works.
I mean, learn to cook is just generally good life advice in general, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, learn to cook. Hey, when you guys coming over for some verde enchiladas I'm going to be making?
Ooh, I'm making taquitos tonight, so maybe tomorrow.
Because I make them from scratch, everything. Get a pound and a half of tomatillos.
I'm making my taquitos
How about you just
from
overnight
scratch.
mail them to me?
Yeah, there you go.
I ain't got no dry ice. Fuck you.
I'm making my taquitos from scratch other than the tortillas, of course. I don't make my own tortillas.
Oh, yeah. No one. Oh, yeah. Don't do that. And I also don't grow my own chicken.
You should just get a chicken coop and keep it in the backyard, Willie.
There's
Really
a
the
space
chicken
back
man.
there, but
Look,
no.
Think how much eggs are going for. You could be the egg man. It could always be an Eggsmas day.
That's a good point. I hate eggs, so I would never get high on my own supply.
Yes, you could just sell all your stuff and make some money.
Except for baking. I mean, I use them for baking and stuff.
That's
French
all I
toast
really
is
use them
as
for currently.
far as that go.
I had to go buy eggs this last weekend and do some baking, or I guess it was a weekend before. And I was like, God damn, I didn't realize how expensive these things were. I thought everyone was just bitching. I was like, no, this is real. Eggs are expensive.
I don't have such weaknesses. I don't really like eggs.
I
don't like
bake.
scrambled eggs. I don't like fried eggs.
Can't remember
I
the
don't
last
know
time
why.
I made
Just the
scrambled
taste of it.
eggs.
Just, I don't get it. I don't know why. I know it's weird, but here we are.
I don't know. I'm a simple bitch. I like making a breakfast sandwich with an over easy egg so that when you bite into it, the yolk explodes into the sandwich. Oh, yeah.
You just said you're a simple bitch and ended it
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's good. Bacon, egg, and cheese or a ham, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich like that. Delicious.
I think it was because when I was younger, I saw my cousin eating like scrambled eggs and just putting an obscene amount of ketchup on them, and I don't know, something about that might have unlocked something. It was like, ugh.
No, don't put ketchup on. Put hot sauce on the eggs. That's much better.
And then finish cooking them so that there's no runny yolk.
Why not? That's delicious.
Salmonella,
then you
that's
can
why.
dip your bread in the runny yolk.
Yeah.
Gross. It's delicious.
What? No.
Nasty.
I mean, just eggs in general sound nasty to me. I do try them every now and then to see, you know what, maybe my taste buds have changed. Maybe I like them now. No.
Well, how do you cook them? Did you season them? Would you put a little salt and pepper?
Apparently, I make great scrambled eggs.
Ooh.
I've been told they don't taste good to me because they're eggs, but...
Well, there you go. Scrambled eggs. Going back to the first topic, everyone should learn to cook. One of the simplest things you can cook is a scrambled egg.
Oh, very simple.
Start there. Seriously, life pro tip. Learn how to cook basic stuff so then you're not dependent on takeout food or just microwave food and stuff like that. It's easy.
And also a good rule for cooking too, never, ever, ever use metal utensils on Teflon pans.
Never use them in general. Just get the silicone utensils and you're good to go. They'll go anywhere and they're more temperature resistant.
Well, the metal?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure a silicone spatula would melt before a metal spoon.
I've got silicone stuff that's good to 450 plus degrees in the oven.
How many spoons do you know melt at 450 degrees in the oven?
I don't know, but I've used silicone bakeware and stuff like that is what I mean.
Fair enough. So far, they're nice.
Yeah, they're nice. You just pop your muffins out and you're good to go. You don't have to get muffin liners. You just go boop and they pop out like little pimples.
Just like your eggs.
You can cook eggs in them too.
Just like your eggs.
Take your eggs
they pop like pimples.
Dump them in those silicone muffin trays and toss them in the oven.
Over here popping muffins.
You got a yolk head.
I like making muffins. I made some blueberry muffins a couple weeks back. They were delicious. Before I put them in the oven, I put some sugar on top of them, so I got a nice crystallized sugar crust on the top of the muffin. It's delicious.
That's all right. You should make like a little crumb cake topping.
Yeah, I could have done that, but I was lazy. I was very lazy.
Good.
I know.
I don't care. I cook. I like to cook. The Scouts taught me how to cook when I was a kid. There was a skill when I went to school that most of my roommates didn't have. Like, how do you know how to do that? I'm like, this is simple stuff, man. This is simple.
Scouts.
Scouts.
Scouts. I thought you said the Scouts. Like, I'm sorry, but the Scottish aren't really known for their delicious, good cooking.
In Chris's neighborhood,
enjoy your haggis.
In Chris's neighborhood, the Highlander family comes around once a month and teaches everybody how to cook scrambled eggs.
It was actually groundskeeper Willie.
Willie hears you. Willie don't care.
Damn kids.
I mean, hey, in today's world, it's even easier to learn how to cook and stuff like that because I guess I knew it existed, but it's kind of I've happened upon it. There's a bunch of like YouTube and Twitch chefs and stuff like that that'll teach you how to cook different things on YouTube or on Twitch and stuff like that. And it's fascinating to see.
Careful with that. Well, there's some bad ones on there. There are some bad ones
too. That is true.
I
see one who was cooking with rotten meat.
It's pretty easy to like tell what's going on when you start watching. I mean, you can watch Binging with Babish. That dude will basically teach you how to cook anything.
Oh yeah,
like he covers too. Like he goes from like French toast up to rack of lamb. Like that dude covers everything. It's kind of impressive.
So
I would like to know how to make a beef Wellington.
True. I mean, well, what I'm saying is, gone are the days where you'd have to either buy a cookbook and try and read along and follow that because not everyone learns well, or cook based off of reading a cookbook, or getting expensive cooking classes or things like that. You can just go to YouTube and be like, I want to learn how to make a beef Wellington, and you can put it in there and you'll probably find a video in the first 3 or 4 that's a pretty decent guide on here's how to make a beef Wellington, and they'll show you step by step how to do it, because a lot of people learn better by seeing versus reading. So that's helpful.
I also recommend Adam Ragusia. I think that's how you pronounce it. I highly recommend him too.
Willie also recommends you make anything they do on Epic Mealtime. It's all about the bacon strips.
And then eat it yourself.
It's true.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't agree with that, but it was funny. I'm dating myself there with an Epic Mealtime reference, I realize.
I mean, I know I got the beer, but all right, now what we're going to do is we're going to pour piping hot bacon grease on it so it cooks it while it cools.
Your Harley needs a bit of work. It's not
I can't remember how the fuck it sounds.
I mean,
best thing he was in was that Madden commercial from back in the day.
I mean, let's be honest. The Epic Mealtime huge reach days have passed us by. Like, I know they still put content out, but I can't tell you the last time I watched an Epic Mealtime video. And if I went like 10 years ago, it was, oh shit, there's a new Epic Mealtime video out. I was watching like the day it came out. Times have changed. People's tastes have changed.
Oh, I do also want to, since we're bringing up YouTube and stuff, I do want to bring up some sad news. Have any of you guys ever heard of Neebs Gaming on YouTube?
Not that I know of, no.
It's a very good channel. I like the way they do their content. They're pretty much, they play like a lot of like survival type games, like 7 Days to Die, Subnautica, but they put like a whole storyline to it, where like if there are multiple people in the same room, like Subnautica is a single player, but like for like 7 Days to Die, they're all in there, and they all use effects like if they're far away, they'd be like, "Hey." You know, they do effects like that and stuff like that, where they actually act like they're far away, and it's a nice touch. Mwah, chef's kiss. But sad news. One of their members sadly passed away a little bit ago, and forever in my heart, Thick 44.
I always hate it when.
See, there was some other sad news this week that odds are most people, if they're listening to this, would know only as a reference from the Shawshank Redemption, because the original novella was entitled Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, where the prison warden says, "What do you know, Fuzzy Britches?" and throws a rock at a poster of Rita Hayworth and ends up finding a hole in a wall that Andy Dufresne crawled through. The lady from that poster, Raquel Welch, has passed away at 82. So
she lived
a long
82 or 83. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, she lived a long, long life. But yeah, she just passed away this week, which was really sad because always seemed like to be an awesome lady that did just tons of cool stuff, tons of great movies. Out there just having a great time. But yeah, probably most famously known, for the fur bikini from what was the movie called, 1 Million BC, or the year 1 million.
Beehive haircut.
No, in that photo, her hair was like flowing. But yeah, it was the fur bikini
like
in that
Barbarella
one.
Then?
Maybe you might be thinking of Barbarella. But yeah, I mean Raquel Welch, in movies with Dean Martin and them back in the day, she started with everybody. She did a ton of movies. Her IMDb is huge. But yeah, kind of sad to see. I mean, let's try to look at some of the last things she did. Yeah, a bunch of television projects, films, stage, won Golden Globes. Just had an amazingly long, kick-ass career. Yeah, and another sad loss for the acting world.
It is indeed.
Oh, Miss Fuzzy Britches.
Guess we should stop bumming each other out though with sad news.
Sorry to start that train.
Yeah, way to go, Willie. Let's roll on and get some less sad news in the news of the week.
We'll see.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Welcome to the news of the week. It's that part of the show where we run down what's in our minds some of the most interesting, geeky, and or nerdy news to have popped up here in the past couple weeks or so. Share with you guys who are watching live or listening later. I've got a relatively short story, and it was more just interesting to me than anything else, but I know that we're all kind of aware that streaming rights for television shows, they're weird, they're a pain in the ass, and they're constantly in flux. But even more so when a streaming network revives a show, then pays to make more seasons, you would expect the show is going to stay on there forever, is what I'd kind of assumed. That's not the case. It's not the case. So if you were not aware, and a lot of people weren't, people started watching some Netflix recently and were watching reruns and old episodes of Arrested Development and saw that, oh wait, all 5 seasons leave Netflix on March 15th. Why this is interesting is Netflix paid a lot of money to bring the cast, crew, and writers back to do an additional 2 seasons of the show. In fact, I believe they are billed as like Netflix Productions, and it was a big hyped up event that Netflix was continuing Arrested Development. Yeah, Netflix is no longer going to have the rights to Arrested Development come March 15th. And there's a lot of people questioning, okay, potentially Fox, which is owned by Disney in this case, would get the TV rights back, we assume, for seasons 1 through 3. What happens with seasons 4 through 5 that Netflix has a share in? can those be rebroadcast anywhere? No one knows. Right now, no one's been able to tell what, if any, streaming service Arrested Development is moving to after it leaves Netflix. But we're kind of almost in those same grounds as what we had with the Defenders TV shows, which is Netflix paid to produce them. They then lost the rights to them and sat in limbo for 2 years, I think it was, before they're allowed to put them on Disney+. My guess is that's what we'll see happen, at least with those last 2 seasons of Arrested Development, is a certain period of time is going to have to elapse before a competing service could then have the rights to it when they bought the entire catalog.
Well, I'm trying to think what Arrested Development was originally on Fox,
Correct.
which is now owned by Disney,
Correct.
which owns Hulu.
Correct.
So if they're
For
getting
now, they're talking about selling it.
Yeah, if they get the rights back from Netflix, then they could just put it on Hulu.
In
if
theory.
they don't sell it, if they just end up keeping it.
And so,
that shit's confusing.
One thing I do also want to point out right now is there's a lot of people like, oh my God, this is why we need physical media. Sure, that's great. You can buy the first 4 seasons physically or digitally from a variety of sources. Season 5 is not available anywhere legally, physically, or digitally outside of Netflix. So again, there's questions of, if I want to watch this content, how do I do it going forward aside from sailing on the 7 seas?
Now, your only option, is to watch it on Netflix until it's gone, and then you have no option for season 5.
Right. You could get seasons 1 through 4 legally and legitimately, but there is no legal way to consume season 5 post March 15th.
Huh. Well, and saying at that point, once people sail the 7 seas, it's no one's fault but the company that owns it. Because if you won't make it available, people are going to go get it.
From a moral standpoint, perhaps, from a legal standpoint, if you pirate season 5 of Netflix on March 16th, you're still violating copyright, and you can still get sued.
But it was also
so
the thing,
kids, don't pirate.
When Game of Thrones was not available to be purchased anywhere, when you had no option to buy the physical media, like that show was pirated like crazy. As soon as Blu-rays were available, those numbers went down. They didn't disappear. Let's not be ridiculous. There were still people that was like, I'm not going to pay for HBO Max. I'm not going to buy the Blu-rays. I'm just going to pirate it. That's what some people do just to get their shows, is what, those numbers will probably never go away. But the numbers did go down once people were available to buy the show physically because they didn't want to pay a monthly fee to HBO Max. You got to make shit available if you want to bitch about people pirating your stuff.
I don't disagree. I just thought it was interesting that Netflix, who paid to resurrect the show, made it a center point of things, is now losing the rights, and nobody knows where it's going and what the complexities are of someone trying to have the entire library available. Willie, you look like you have a thought.
2 things.
Okay.
Like
the reason I got into Game of Thrones was because someone gave me some disc the first 3 seasons. And I got into it, and I started subscribing to HBO. I think it was HBO Go at the time.
It was. You could get HBO Go and then HBO Now, depending.
Yep. And then, and 2, God damn, Netflix is fucking up big time. I cannot believe it. Oh, how many holes they got in their feet from shooting so many times.
Yeah, it's certainly...
They can still dance by comparison to Warner Brothers, so I'm not really going to hold Netflix over the fire yet.
Yeah. Well, now you saw that Warner now is not getting rid of their TLC app. They're going to make it or their Discovery Plus app. They're going to make it cheaper with just the reality crap on it. But then they're supposedly going to raise the price on HBO Max because of all the quality content on it.
They're putting all the reality shows on there. They're reality. I'm using air quotes there because have you seen one of the new ones they just started coming out?
No.
MILF Manor.
I saw a commercial for it somewhere.
No, it gets worse. Guess who the MILFs are dating? The other kids of the other women.
Oh,
it's even worse.
Oh,
thank you, TLC. The gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, and fuck you, MTV. This is all your fault.
And I don't believe any of them are actually related. I think it's all fake, even though it's reality TV. Especially when one of them, the Disco Mommy. Oh my God.
I hate the fact that they're even allowed to call it reality TV. As soon as you have a writer on staff, it's not a reality TV show anymore. The only reality TV I'll watch is the Who Wants to Be the Next Ultimate Fighter, because nobody's writing who wins those fights. Those kids are beating the shit out of each other to try to get a contract.
No, you gotta watch
to be
BattleBots.
part of the UFC.
That's reality.
That's closer than any of the dating shows. That's for sure.
Who doesn't like?
I mean,
robots
the only dating show that was mildly interesting was from Netflix. It was the one where they're all in the furry outfits. It was interesting because they actually did some good costuming with that. It looked cool.
That's fair.
I don't know.
I didn't ever watch it. I just looked at the pictures like, oh, that's a good costume.
The only one that I actually watched that I liked was the original Joe Millionaire on Fox. Like, because we're gonna take all these awful people and lie to them about this guy being a millionaire. He's a construction worker from Chicago.
Now, I do remember seeing one on Fox a long, long time ago. It was called My Big Fat Obnoxious Fiance.
It
ran for one season. The whole thing with that is, I don't know how much it was real though. The woman it was supposed to be like a man and a woman coming together, and they're supposed to be faking getting married like really fast for this for the show. But what the woman didn't know was the guy, the big fat obnoxious guy, was a plant. Like, he was an actor just trying to be as obnoxious as possible. Meeting the family and everything. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that was actually entertaining.
So and that's blatantly not reality TV. It
could be from
basically
her point of view.
It's an altered version of Punk'd. It's just a long ass episode of Punk'd.
So
you're not wrong.
Willie, I gotta ask then, are you gonna watch the new show that's coming to Fox? They kept pushing it during the NFL playoffs. It's got a really unique title, Farmer Needs a Wife.
Ugh. Yeah, that looks so awful.
That does look terrible. It's because these farmers don't have success with the dating apps, so the reality
they have a whole
TV
website.
I know, the reality TV show people have then given them a bunch of city ladies to come and date them bachelor style, so they can find women that want to live with them on their farms. I was like, the fuck is this? I don't know what's going on.
So here's my question: Who do
mail order idiots is what it is
on farmersonly.com? Because if you're not a farmer, I'm assuming you can't go on there.
Well,
so I guess everyone
Andre
has to be a farmer.
Andre did.
He did.
You're supposed to be a farmer.
He just had a little bit of crops that he
the giant
took care of in
No, Andre knows it from the league. He used Taco's farm from the EBDBB&B.
There you go. Dr. Andre knows.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A what?
A what? A marathon.
What? All right, so real quick, just because this popped up as I was discussing that story that I'd gotten off Polygon about Arrested Development. I'd seen this and forgotten about it, but you guys were all roughly the same age. Did you guys read a lot of Calvin and Hobbes when you were younger?
Bit.
It was one of the only things I would get the Sunday paper for.
He's not dead. No, this is good news, Willie. This is good news.
I have
I got figured. I was kidding.
I have the 3-volume complete edition. I bought it for myself one year for Christmas, so Santa dropped it off because everybody should own Calvin and Hobbes.
I grew up reading them over and over and over again, and I had seen this news in passing, and I'd forgotten about it, and it popped up on Polygon while I was there. Bill Watterson, the cartoonist best known for Calvin and Hobbes, is coming out of retirement for a new book titled The
nice.
Mysteries.
You gonna do something new?
Titled The Mysteries, the official synopsis on the Simon & Schuster website describes the illustrated book as fables for grown-ups. It takes place in a kingdom where disasters keep happening. The king of the realm sends out a team of knights to investigate, but only one returns years later. The Mysteries is a partnership between Watterson and caricaturist John Kasich, I believe is how you say that. According to the description, they worked together for several years in unusually close collaboration. Both artists abandoned their past ways of working, inventing images together that neither could anticipate. So, it looks interesting that Watterson is doing something different, kind of mixing things up. He is retired from comic strips, but he had not anonymously. They'd kept it a secret that he drew like a week's worth of Pearls Before Swine comic strips or whatever.
That's my favorite.
I love Pearls Before Swine also.
Yeah, he always talks good things about them because I have a couple of the books and he had some things in there.
And Bill Watterson had guest cartooned and written like a week or 2 weeks of cartoons on there. No one really realized until after the fact. Nice. I was like, yeah, Bill was interested in this and we made it happen. So I thought that was cool. And Watterson is someone who notoriously, like, Calvin got huge, got big, and at that point he was like, this is not what I want for my character. He goes, I'm done, and I'm not licensing him out for anything. And that's it. That's why you see a bunch of bootleg stuff, but there's not really official Calvin and Hobbes merch.
Because there's none.
He never did it.
If you buy anything with Calvin and Hobbes, you ain't buying it.
Yep. Other than the books.
Well,
Well, I mean, literally, like plushes or anything like that.
Yeah, anything else, is not licensed by Bill Watterson. Watterson's not getting a cut, and you're basically paying someone for bootlegging an artist's IP, which is kind of shitty.
But I got Calvin pissing on something on the back of my vehicle.
Right.
Isn't that worth it?
Every time I see one of those, I want to cover it with. I want to pull out a can of spray paint and just spray paint the vehicle.
I want to piss on it.
Right. And I did misspeak. It was only 3 strips on Pearls Before Swine. I thought it was more than that back in 2014. And if you're interested, The Mysteries will be coming out on October 10th, the new book that he is doing. So I'm curious. I'm going to have to go look up more of it. There's some cool sample art, and it looks interesting. It does not look Calvin and Hobbesy. So that's cool.
Well, yeah, because it's not a comic strip, right? It's a book.
It's a book, illustrated book. I will put in our show notes for anyone who's interested the link from Polygon.
So you got Water. Well, you got
so
Watterson.
It's a book with illustrations every so often.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I said, and if you got Will Watterson and another artist that's a caricaturist doing artwork together, then you're going to get. It's not probably going to look anything like Calvin and Hobbes, but it might have a little bit of that tone or flavor overall to it.
And let's be honest, part of what was so good about Watterson's work was the storytelling he did with it too.
Yeah. I mean, Abominable Snowmans, dude. Like, if he only invented those, if that was all he ever did.
Goons.
Snow Goons?
Yeah, and he had the transmogrifying box and stuff like that. He had all sorts of cool
the
stuff.
box is right. But I'm saying, if he only did just the snowmen zombified attacking each other in the front yard, just Calvin doing that. If that was the only thing he invented, the guy's still a genius.
And remember, scientific progress goes boink.
Everything goes boink.
I never really read enough Calvin Hobbes, I guess.
I've read them all so many times. I love them.
Yeah,
they're great.
It's
Sorry,
so good.
Pearls Before Swine is mine.
Pearls Before Swine is also great.
Probably my favorite of all time.
You would enjoy Calvin and Hobbes because it has.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen it. I know the kind of gist.
They still republish Calvin and Hobbes in the daily newspapers.
Oh, the syndicated.
Too. Yeah,
it's 100%. He still gets paid. It's syndicated.
Yeah, I don't know
if
that's one that might never ever leave.
When you get that point, ooh, you get that syndication paper money.
And I think it's cool that I remember reading Calvin and Hobbes books and Calvin and Hobbes in the newspaper when I was like 10 years old. And now there's kids nowadays that are reading the exact same stuff that I was reading because he only published Calvin and Hobbes for like 10 years. There's only was 10 years worth of strips, and it's been published for probably 30 at this point. Yeah, it's got to be 30. I'm 39 years old, and I remember being 9 or 10 years old and reading them. So 30 plus years of Calvin and Hobbes.
And it's one of those ones that, I mean, literally newspapers, they can print the entire thing, and then when it ends, you can restart on the first one, and everybody's still going to be happy. Like, no one's going to be mad to see the Calvin and Hobbes start over again. Mm-hmm. Like, it's awesome.
It's great. I want to go check out Watterson's new book when it comes out in October. I am going to bookmark it on Amazon or something for now so I can see as we get closer. But, yeah, that was my news. There was some exciting stuff there. I'm going to toss things over to Mr. Anthony Bachman.
Oh, we had ourselves a fun Super Bowl Sunday. Lots of commercials, some good, some bad. But there was a whole lot going on that was attached to one name on that day, which is James Gunn. And I think, honestly, at some point he must have talked to Kevin Feige and the Marvel guys. Was like, hey, can we start the day out easy for me? I'm going to catch some shit later on in the afternoon when I'm trying to talk up the other company. So can we start the day off with the Guardians 3 trailer so that everybody's going to show me some love online? Because then after that, I have to go tell people that I think The Flash is a good movie, and that's going to be hard to do. So we did get more trailers for Guardians, which it just looks so good. Like, the James Gunn soundtrack alone, the way the guy picks songs for the way he puts a story together and then tells the story throughout the movie, like those first 2 soundtracks are so amazing. I own them both on vinyl. Like, I can't wait to buy the third one. Like,
Bachman's a
you
fancy
can toss on
bitch is what you're hearing right here.
Oh, damn right. I got those fuckers from Mondo. They look good. But I mean, the way the man picks songs and then basically writes a script to the music, like nobody does that the way James Gunn does that, except maybe Edgar Wright. Those are maybe the 2 directors that have like the biggest knowledge of music in their heads, that they're thinking of a song as they're writing a story. And then when they get the rights to put that on the soundtrack, like it just works so well. I mean, Baby Driver, like sound of the songs mixed in with the story might be one of the best versions ever. And like both Guardians and Guardians 2 stand there right next to it. The soundtracks of those movies are epic.
Bell
what we're going to see in the what we're going to see in the new one looks so good for Guardians 3. I'm super excited. Then we got a little more information in the extra shots with the release of the Flash trailer, where there was a cool article I read. Let me put it
this way: it's the Batman trailer that happens to have the Flash in it. To me,
yeah, that happens
to
have
two Flashes.
You
the
get two
problematic
Batmans.
Ezra Miller in it. So I did like this article. So from Flash Film, Aaron Brady, article from the 13th, 9 years, 4 sets of directors, 4 scripts, several shifting release dates. This has been the journey of the Flash. And I'm actually going to put that in quotes because, yeah, this isn't Flash. Grant Gustin's the Flash. The first silver screen solo outing for the iconic DC superhero, which I've read Flash comics. None of them are anything like this character. So I don't know how it's the iconic DC superhero if it's a version that's never been in the comics. So we've gotten all these changes have happened. We finally got the trailer. We got to see, we get Michael Keaton. We get Ben Affleck as well. So we got 2 different versions of the Batman in there. And then in the trailer, we see basically alterations to what was the Flashpoint storyline, which was Flash goes back and saves his mom. This fucks up reality. This creates a reality where Bruce is shot in front of his mom and dad. Thomas Wayne becomes the Batman, who is an angry red-eyed demon who shoots people with guns. And his mom loses her shit and becomes the Joker. And so Martha Wayne in that world is the Joker, which was awesome. And so you have an evil vigilante murderous Batman in that world. But instead we're going to replace that with Michael Keaton. Okay, I love 89 Batman, but that's not Thomas Wayne. And in this alternate universe of Flashpoint, an alien that landed on Earth was captured by the military and hid away in a silo and never became like a crazy superhero, so we never got Superman. And they got rid of that, and they're just making it Superwoman because apparently so they don't want it because they didn't want to recast another Superman already. And they were having all the problems with Henry Cavill during the 9 different iterations of the Flash.
I don't find that a problem necessarily that they decided to go the Supergirl route there. It's a different twist on Flashpoint. Whatever, it fits in with the mythos they want.
Give me a reason why. Why are we changing it to Supergirl?
Because why does it have to be Superman?
I don't know, because that was the story that was written that was done well.
Bachman.
Why can't you do the same story with Supergirl, though?
Let's bring it back. How do you kill Dracula, Bachman?
Stake to the heart.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. Kill it however you want to. That's not true.
If you shoot someone through the heart with a silver bullet and they die, they were a werewolf. That's the rule. If I stab you through the heart with a wooden stake and you die, you were a vampire. That's the rule. That's how it works.
So I get the point you're saying there about being faithful to Flashpoint, but I guess maybe I've gotten desensitized to it because of how poorly they did Flashpoint in the Flash TV show. It's more of just a matter of you take some inspiration from the source material, and you don't have to make it be 100% match because you're never going to make people happy if you do that. Other than if you do an animated version, because it's a lot easier. That is true. I don't have a problem.
Animated was great.
I don't have a problem with them doing a badass Supergirl that got the same treatment that Clark did in Flashpoint. I think that's kind of cool, and I don't think it really changes the context of the story that much that it's Kara versus Cal.
Now I'm realizing part of what you're losing is you're losing the emancipated Superman. Because that's what you had in Flashpoint was someone that was held underground and never received any solar radiation from Earth, giving them their superpowers, a.k.a. the Superman that we see where everybody thinks Superman has to look like Henry Cavill for no damn reason other than humans can't imagine someone being strong unless they look like they can bench 600 pounds. And so in Flashpoint, you had this emaciated, death camp Superman, which was a really creepy visual.
Yes.
And instead we're getting Supergirl that just looks like Supergirl in kind of a torn tunic. And so I think that's what kind of threw it off for me. It's she doesn't even look like she just looks normal. But I don't know. It's just one more problem. The only upside is apparently this is finally the kiss off, fuck off, be gone Snyderverse. And so they're going to reset everything and hopefully it's better going forward. But, oh man, couldn't they have just given us a Batman Beyond movie with freaking Michael Keaton and got rid of this Ezra Miller shit?
Supposedly we almost got it, and that's what really bums me out about all this.
Yeah, we had a version.
Because they got rid of a whole Batgirl movie.
Well, and they've pretty much cut Keaton's involvement out of every other movie that he was in, because supposedly he had a post-credits scene in one of the other upcoming DC movies. That's cut out. So he was going to be in Batgirl heavily, cut out. So all that's left of the Keaton stuff they were trying to sprinkle in is this movie. And honestly, that's the thing I was most interested in, was the Michael Keaton Batman stuff, to see what had happened with that character. But at the same time, and I kind of half joked about this on Mastodon/Twitter, it's like, oh, they put one trailer out for The Flash, everyone forgets just how fucking problematic Ezra Miller is.
Yes, and I didn't forget, because even with it getting rid of the Snyderverse and being the reset and 89 Batman, I'm not going to pay to see this movie.
I'm of the same mind, and we were talking about it on the Gonna Geek Discord, and you guys can go to GonnaGeek.com/Discord if you want to join in. There's a TV and movies channel, and when this came up with the Super Bowl, there were a lot of people that were excited to see Michael Keaton Batman there. And I can't remember, one of the posters kind of admitted the next day. He goes, I kind of got caught up in things. He goes, after I sat and thought about it, he goes, I'm really excited to see Michael Keaton as this. He goes, but I don't think I'm excited enough that I'm going to go and give my money to basically condone them sweeping under the rug all of the bullshit that Ezra Miller's been involved with. Because people say, oh, cancel culture. No, it's consequences culture is number one. There's no consequences or accountability for what Ezra Miller's done. I guess they are in therapy right now, and James Gunn said in an interview at one point in time that they're seeking help, and depending on how that goes, they may continue to work with them going forward. And I'm like, guys, this was not inconsequential. This wasn't a guy who's like, oh, I like my liquor a lot, and I go and act like a drunk idiot in public. This was a lot more than that. I mean, there were allegations involving children and violence and stuff like that, and I'm going, how do we sweep this under the rug for not one, but two movie franchises?
Yeah, and both are with Warner Bros. And there was a quote from Peter Safran in the Slash Film article where they were saying, as for where the future stands for The Flash after his big screen adventure, that remains entirely uncertain. Among the myriad of issues plaguing the production since its announcement were the legal matters surrounding Miller, which ranged from robbery to assault to alleged child grooming. When presenting the new DC slate earlier this week, DC Studios co-head Peter Safran, the other guy who runs it with James Gunn, the other producer, affirmed that discussion over the actor's future with the franchise remains undiscussed due to them currently being in treatment. He said, let's see what happens, Safran said. When the time is right, we'll have the conversation with them and decide what's best for both them personally and also for us. Which, I mean, if I read between the lines, that means when you get out of treatment, we'll be allowed to release this movie and then quietly get rid of you as best we can because we don't want to deal with you anymore because you're a shitstorm.
We should have just written the movie off.
Or they could have made a whole big deal like, hey, guys, we know you hate this motherfucker. We're getting rid of him and starting with Grant Gustin. How about that? He's just going to be the Flash, and we're done. It doesn't even have to be Grant. They showed like a list of actors that could replace Ezra Miller, and every one of them would have been a less problematic option. Take the $20 million that you freaking got from, boxing Batwoman, shoving it in a vault, and CGI in another freaking actor.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
if they could replace Henry Cavill's mustache, they could replace Ezra Miller.
Here's what it comes down to for me is the dude is they are, I don't want to misgender them, and I accidentally did. They use they, them pronouns, so I want to make sure I use that appropriately, and I apologize if I do slip. They obviously have mental health problems. I'm glad they're getting help, but that doesn't just wipe away the stuff that was going on. And it's not necessarily accountability for Ezra Miller, why I don't want to watch it. It's more of, you can't condone the studio trying to just like, we're going to push this off into a corner, pretend like it doesn't exist, so you guys will come watch our big superhero popcorn movie. If I go and give them my money, that's basically me being like, yeah, I don't care what you guys do to deal with your problematic actors. I just want the product. And yes, I want to see the parts of the movie that look really interesting to me, but I'm making a point that I'm not going to go to the theater to watch this. I'm not going to go and rent this. I'm not going to go and buy this on Blu-ray. I think I said in the Discord, it's a matter of, if I still have HBO Max, I'll watch it on that at some point in time, or I'll wait until it's on TNT or TBS, because all of the DC superhero movies are showing up on TNT and TBS right now because Warner owns them. Eventually,
you can see Aquaman any 4 days. Like, it's being reshown on there.
I mean, hell, they're showing Silicon Valley on TNT now. And I was like,
dang.
Yeah, like they're taking HBO stuff. Like True Blood is showing on TNT now. And I'm like, how are they doing this? There's going to be a lot of pixelation, I assume.
Yeah, because that...
Yeah. Yeah.
Well...
So that's part of what's going on here is if you want to see the movie and you want to give your money, that's great. You do what you are comfortable with. It's not my place to judge you or tell you what to do. But if you don't want to see the movie, that's fine too. Do what you're comfortable with. If you feel like you're $15, you don't want it to make it seem like you support them kind of brushing off all these allegations and not really even doing anything about it, trying to get him help or anything, just kind of like, oh, he's fucked up or they're fucked up. That's all they really did for a long time there until people were able to convince Ezra Miller to go into treatment. And the implication that has been made by a variety of different news services, it was pending court charges that kind of forced their hand, not necessarily. Mm-hmm. I mean, if that's what it takes to get healthy, that's great. But I just don't want to condone the action to be like, hey, our actor's a total shit show and has been doing terrible things, and we're just not going to acknowledge it and try and brush it under the rug. Well, you've got the same company that's canceling Batgirl because they want a tax break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole argument is like, oh, but it's the movie that's going to reset our universe. Who needs a reset? Just stop with the Snyder shit and just make a good movie. That's all you have to do. Make one good movie, quit trying to universal dark universe this shit, and every time you launch a movie, go, we're going to have a cohesive universe with 10 films. No, just make a good movie, and if it's good, you can build on it. Quit. They've relaunched the Dark Universe, 5 times now? And everyone has failed because instead of making a good movie, they're trying to make a cohesive cinematic universe. No, make a good movie. Then go forward. Quit trying to jump to step 6 when you haven't done step 1. We don't need Flashpoint. I'm putting this sucker right in the Joker category. I've never spent $1 to see that Todd Phillips shit show. I never will. And I won't pay to see the sequel. I'm not going to pay to see The Flash. I will see it once it's free somewhere. Until then, I will not be watching this movie.
Going to disagree with you, and I'm going to give you an example that will hopefully it's like, you know what, you got a point. You may not agree with me, but I got a point. Peacemaker.
What about Peacemaker?
Started an ensemble, went into his own show.
James Gunn didn't do the Suicide Squad saying, I'm going to build a cinematic universe. They said, here's a handful of characters that nobody wants. Make a show, make a movie out of it.
But you get what I mean. That's like part 6 and going back to step 1, introducing you back to this character. I'm taking that, picking and choosing, I give it to you, but it kind of works.
I wouldn't say that as James Gunn jumping to 6 because he did Suicide Squad, and they said, what would you like to do now? He's like, I kind of have an idea for this one weird character that we pseudo killed off. Can I do this? And DC gave him the go ahead.
God damn, I'm happy they did.
I mean, do
you really want to taste it?
Yeah, it's the greatest intro of any superhero movie or show ever.
On Spotify, on my playlist, baby. Wigwam.
Yeah, a killer soundtrack for an entire season of television that was really well done, and all based on a really good movie. But James Gunn didn't come out and announce, I'm going to do 3 seasons of television of this character you haven't seen yet because you haven't seen this movie come out yet. I don't know. I think that was A and B. Like he literally did A worked. They did B afterwards.
I guess to help you out.
And it was something that people didn't think was going to work. People thought Peacemaker was going to be awful. I thought Peacemaker was going to be awful. I'm like, I love James Gunn, but this seems like a weird idea.
Yeah, until I saw that first episode. But I will give this to you that, man, after The Batman came out, which was excellent. It was great. Yeah. And then they announced, we're going to have a Penguin show. We're going to have a Gotham PD show again. Yeah. I'm like, I don't care about any of this shit. Just give me the Batman 2. Yeah, I don't want to see any of that shit.
How about just make
I appreciate the world, but give me the Batman 2.
Even with your love of Man of Steel, we never got Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, I wanted Man of Steel 2.
I mean, I didn't hate that movie, but I wouldn't have mind seeing Henry Cavill do part 2. Give him a sequel. He never got a sequel. They jumped directly to Batman versus Superman and fucked it up.
Well, at least they did get an awesome fucking scene in Justice League. The one where he first comes awake.
Oh, and just
that was fucking the Flash running. You fuck Ezra Miller, but he was like,
yeah. One good scene does not condone the Spider-Verse or the Snyderverse.
I was gonna say the Spider-Verse is awesome.
Still enjoy
bite your tongue.
I love the Spider-Verse. Yeah, Snyderverse is. But no, yeah, it's just they jumped to Batman instead of just making a Batman movie and then doing Man of Steel 2. and then giving us Batman vs Superman. How awesome would that could have been so much better. No, we're going to jump right to what should have been the fourth film. Like, DC has been, they just want to skip steps. They don't want to do world building. They don't want to build up characters. They just want, hey, give us that Endgame money. And Marvel's over here going, we did 23 movies before Endgame. That's how we got Endgame money. You build up to the fucking story. The annuals during the summer are great in comics because there's 12 issues of story leading up to them. And then you get a big crazy ass crossover. If you just did the annuals and there was no storyline to get you there, people wouldn't give a shit. DCU.
He's not wrong. Like, going back to the Flash stuff, like, it looks cool. The effects look cool. What we see of them teasing this nostalgia blast of Batman looks really cool. Like, you go and look at the trailer and you see like a multitude of bat suits in the Batcave, and there's already websites that have broken it down and compared like different action figures and stuff like that, trying to figure out the different bat suits. That's really cool.
And what's his name? The Anton First Ford Batmobile.
Yeah.
Like, that car's gorgeous. It's still gorgeous.
Yeah, it's still awesome. It's just, I'm going to speak with my pocketbook. It's what we've talked about before when it comes to pre-ordering games and other things like that. Speak with your pocketbook. Speak with your wallet. That's the only thing that people are going to listen to. They don't care how many times you bitch about something on Twitter, unless they're caving to the Snyderverse the first time and then realize that was terrible press and then refuse to do it again. But that's neither here nor there. Also, bear in mind that took 6 years of them harassing people terribly so to make that happen. So please don't do that. Please.
And what's good is that James Gunn is not afraid of those idiots online.
That's
He
also
responds to them, which is awesome because James Gunn does rock. And it's the only time I've ever in my life felt like he's a corporate shill because he has to say that The Flash is a great movie. And it might be. But I know he has to say that now, and that part kind of sucks.
Yeah. It just could be my own personal opinion. I get the feeling their hands are a bit tied when it comes to the Flash. Whether they wanted it to happen or not.
It's the reset.
Management said this is happening.
Speaking of James Gunn, listen. This isn't left wing or right wing bullshit at all. Just because he's a piece of shit in general. If Tucker Carlson thinks you're an asshole, you're probably a great goddamn person.
That's true. That's true.
Because he's just a shithead. Sad they can't jerk off on M&Ms. Go fuck yourself.
Oh.
All right. I guess we'll put a pin in that topic.
That was my news.
Right wing or left wing, just because he's a shit person.
Willie, did you have a news story you wanted to touch on before we get to our segment? I can't remember.
I'm sorry. What are you voting with again, Chris?
My pocket
dollar.
Or my purse.
Oh, you know what another word
my
for
purse?
That's my purse. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
Speaking of which, surprising me at least, because I did not see this coming. King of the Hill's making a return back to Hulu, and I cannot wait. Because they just did Squirrel Tactics right up that tree and into the 2023. Squirrel Tactics, for those who don't know, is something that Dale Gribble did when trying to run from a fight. He did Squirrel Tactics, run to a tree, climbed up a little bit, and plopped over a fence. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use his government name. I mean Rusty Shackelford.
I do love Rusty.
That was his incognito name.
There was
Rusty Shackelford.
I can't even remember what song it was. All I remember is like the Bare Naked Ladies did a music video that was them just screwing with Rusty Shackelford / Dale Gribble at one point in time. And it just popped in my head as you were talking about that. Because I remember watching that video and just laughing.
There's only one song I know by the Bare Naked Ladies.
1 week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know of any other songs? I don't.
Straw Hat and Old Dirty Hank, Old Apartment. I like the Bare Naked Ladies though, so.
Yeah, I know 5 or 6. I don't know the names of them. I've never been great at names of songs. Oh, sorry, distracted by my phone. My wedding invitations are shipped, and apparently Bruce Willis's family has announced he does have prefrontal how do they say it? Frontotemporal dementia. So yeah, he does have dementia.
I mean, that sucks, but from everything I heard, you're a shit person, man. So
yeah, but also, I mean, I still think it's a good reason for people to back the fuck off giving him shit about the last 20 movies he did in the last 2 years.
Oh yeah, I'm not making fun of him for
he was basically making sure he had enough money to take care of his family, and the dude's got dementia. Like, yeah, maybe some of the movies aren't great. I just
meant the way he treated people in the past. I mean, I've heard only bad stories, and that made with a sour taste.
I've heard good and bad, so I think he's just a person. Everybody has bad
Kayak,
days.
Mother trucker.
Damn right.
It's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I'm just gonna bypass it. I'm not gonna bring attention to it.
So King of the Hill, yeah. Let's go back to that. They said they were bringing back the entire living cast, which gets you into the same issue that we had with the Simpsons.
Who did we lose for King of the Hill?
Brittany Murphy.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot.
Luann.
And
yeah, that is sad.
Luann's husband in the show. That was
he died too?
I think so.
I forget his name. I just remember him always talking like this, Hank.
Dang, no man, I'm on click on internet, I mean.
Oh, I wonder if they're going to bring that back too, where the very last scene of the last episode previously of King of the Hill was you found out that Boomhauer was a Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
God, I love that.
He was a Texas, like he had just become one, or he was a Texas Ranger the whole time?
Goes to his like his nightstand, and his wallet or something flops over, and it's a Texas Ranger badge.
I don't think I ever saw the last episode.
It is.
That's insane.
Now with this show coming back,
so Luann and Lucky will both be gone.
Lucky,
I'd forgotten Lucky's voiced by Tom Petty.
Oh God, that's right.
Petty
Yeah,
died?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tom Petty died like 10 years ago.
Was
yeah.
Tom Petty? I forgot.
2017. Tom Petty passed away.
Damn.
Wow. So that was 6 years ago.
On top of those characters that probably won't appear again, you also run into the problem of the gentleman who voices Khan is very white. Remember the problems we had with The Simpsons in recent times with the problems with the poo?
Yeah, the problems with the poo got its own documentary.
I'll be curious to see what they decide to do there in regards to voice acting, whether that changes or not.
So a question with that little factoid.
Yes.
Because I remember Uncharted 4, the game, came into a little blowback for that because the character Nadine was black as well, but I think she was South African. They hired a South African voice actress. She just happened to be white, though. Like, is that really a problem? I mean, it's the same nationality.
I am not the right person to ask whether that's a problem or not. I don't know. Because
I will tell you the answer is you get Billy West or John DiMaggio just to do all the voices because they're amazing. That's the answer. You hire one of those two guys and they can do anything.
I did not know that about Khan's voice actor. I never looked into it.
Yeah, Khan Sufanusa, however you say his last name in the show, is played by Toby Huss.
Wife. Was
Toby
the wife?
Huss. Min is
Huss?
played by Lauren Tom, is what it says on here.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I mean, I thought they handled it pretty good in the show with all the main guys. Like, so are you Japanese or Chinese? And like, I'm from Laos, stupid. And all of a sudden, and then Cotton comes up and you're expecting him to be worse. And he's like, he's from Laotian. He's like, yeah, that's right. He thought he was going to be the biggest bigot there, but no, he wasn't.
Well, he can't be the biggest bigot there. He doesn't have knees.
So I'm excited to see the
shins.
show return. I just don't know how they will handle that, or if they'll even address it all. They may just be like, hey, we're going to stick with what the show was and go forward from there. I don't know. I do know that in today's world, that's slightly problematic when you have a person of color being portrayed. Well, not slightly. It is
That's
problematic.
fair.
And arguably so, because it is work that should be going to people of color instead of more just white people.
I think it's more problematic because of the accent that was put onto it, I think.
Yes.
Like, I think with Uncharted 4, it wasn't a problem because, I mean, that was just their natural accent anyway, so maybe that wasn't a problem. But, yeah, like with Apu, I get that.
Yeah,
Cleveland, I get that, too.
Yeah, that excessive kind of racist stereotypical accent for the cartoon.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, remember, when you watch King of the Hill, Khan was not portrayed as being disliked because of his race. He was disliked because he was an asshole.
Yeah, he was always kind of a selfish prick.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the Supanusophones.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He was always just a selfish prick. That's all I remember him as.
That was more of what it was, the way he was portrayed in King of the Hill, is he was an asshole. It was not because of where he was from or anything like that. It's just the dude was an asshole.
I forgot Danny Trejo was Enrique. He did 20 episodes on that show.
There were so many people
Yeah,
that did.
Machete was on fucking King of the Hill. Yeah, the list of the cast is insane for the people that worked on that show. Like there's so many great actors and actresses on that list.
And that show went for so long. Like you don't realize how long that show ran, and you're like, holy crap, that show had an incredible run. And
it got canceled once, and it already got brought back on Fox. I think
so too.
Right?
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is whether there's a time jump or not in King of the Hill. Does it just continue with them, Bobby Hill, still being in middle school, or do we go to high school Bobby Hill, college graduate Bobby Hill, grown up Bobby Hill?
There was a little bit of a time jump. You couldn't see him Bobby, but you could see it
Joseph.
Yeah, and Joseph.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see, like senior of high school Bobby Hill. Is he playing football and Hank's out there watching him play football? Like, I could see a whole lot being done just with that.
I don't see Bobby Hill playing football.
No, neither do I. And that's why I want to see the storyline where it works and they made him
a my God.
Or something.
King of the Hill just turns into Friday Night Lights.
Exactly.
Or Varsity Blues, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
With propane and propane accessories.
Dad, I don't want your life. I just want my purse.
Just want my purse. Yeah, this cast is insane.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it return. I'm curious to see what they do storyline wise. I like King of the Hill. I think it's an incredibly underrated show, and I enjoy it. I want to see more. It's Mike Judge, man. He writes good stuff. He writes good stuff.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah. I mean,
King
the dude's
Hill,
been
Beavis
funny.
And Butthead.
Yeah, the dude's been funny since Beavis and Butthead were watching videos on a couch. Like, the dude's been funny for a long time.
And the new Beavis and Butthead stuff's pretty good too.
Office Space.
They're even showing that on Comedy Central now too.
What, Office Space?
No, the new Beavis and Butthead stuff that was on Paramount Plus. It's on Comedy Central now too.
I don't have cable. Would never know.
I only know because South Park came back last week and there was a commercial for Beavis and Butthead. I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, it's the new stuff.
This tells you all you need to know about King of the Hill. There was an episode that had Meryl Streep in it. Yeah. Meryl Streep did an episode of King of the Hill. What else do you need to know about the show? That's how great this show is.
Wait, hold on. Hey,
and then Mike Judge was in Jackass 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to list like Ellen Barkin did an episode, Matthew McConaughey did an episode, Orlando Jones did an episode, friggin' Megan Mullally was on it. Damn. Gene Simmons, Carmen Electra, like everybody that was a celebrity during the 90s did one episode of King of the Hill, basically.
Yeah. And you know what? Thanks to King of the Hill, it made me realize who was the greatest president that's still living.
Jimmy Carter?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know about the peanut farmer before King of the Hill?
Well, I mean, I was also a little kid when that, or not a little kid, but I was still a teen, and I didn't really give a shit.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I was old enough to hear about him doing like building houses for people. Yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah, I was like, wow, and he fucking and that actually helped me because there's a new Jeopardy game, or I think came out last year, but you use kind of works like Jackbox, where you use your phone to buzz in and you say your answer into your phone. Works about 95% of the time. Like there's a chance where it gets it, like where it doesn't get, but it works most of the time. And the final Jeopardy question was like, who is the oldest still living president or something like that? And I was like, that's got to be Jimmy Carter, right?
It's
got to be Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy's what, like late 90s, early 100s, isn't he, or something?
He's still alive.
I want to say he's like 98 now.
And he's still out there doing like Habitat for Humanity stuff all the time.
Yeah, 39th U.S. president.
Not a great president, but he's an awesome dude.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. I meant like he's an awesome.
He's
like,
98.
Humanitarian.
Yeah, he is a humanitarian.
Just a great person in general. That's what I meant.
Put his peanut farm in a trust to be the president, so that he didn't have any potential monetary issues.
Did the things you're supposed to do to be a president.
Yeah.
Yeah, served from January 20th, 1977, before even I was born, through January 20th, 1981. So yeah, he was the president up until I was 3.
Well, Willie, I'm glad you're able to share that.
Except for one thing. I hope one character doesn't come back.
Who's that?
My most hated character on that entire show. Peggy Hill.
Oh, Peggy's coming back. They're not killing her.
God, I hate Peggy so much.
She survived a skydiving accident where a parachute
I was
didn't deploy.
hoping when they brought her back for that, I was so angry.
Yeah.
They had a whole court case where it proved that she was so stupid that she got away with it. God.
And she's too dumb to be held accountable. Oh, of course she thought that. She's too dumb to be held accountable, so she did win.
So, Willie, I know you're bummed that Peggy Hill's probably coming back, but you know what you're really going to be excited about?
Rusty Shackelford?
I was going to say the return of a segment we haven't done in ages.
Unprotected Advice with Willie D. Nelson.
Unprotected all the way in, baby.
That's right. For those that have not listened to this show in a while, this is a segment where we rely on Willie's life wisdom and thoughts to help steer people who need advice. It all started as a one-off gag, but we do take this seriously. It is not.
Oh, we do? Because I was going to make this a quick segment saying, if it doesn't sound like you're stirring mac and cheese, you're doing it wrong.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Put it on a t-shirt. So I did have two things pulled aside, but we're about an hour in, so we're probably going to do one of these advices, and maybe we'll do unprotected advice again next week. So the question I have for you, Willie, as our advice giver, do you want the one that is just general advice, or do you want the one that is relationship advice?
I'm not going to shy away from a challenge. Let's go relationship advice.
All right. So this is from Reddit r/relationship advice, which is where we tend to go for these. The title of this one was, I really like someone, but, oh, crap. I've messed up the title. Regardless, the poster here is a 22-year-old female talking about 26-year-old male for the background and the context. And they say...
The title is, Chris Can't Read.
It's called Chris didn't copy the title over. He only kept the URL. So it really threw me off a little bit here. I screwed it up. It's my bad. It's my bad. But... let's go into the unprotected advice because Willie's got some thinking to do, and Willie will offer his advice. Bachman and I will chime in, and this is not screwing around trying to give bad advice for the lulz. This is legitimately trying to use the life wisdom that we've accumulated in our years of doing stupid things to keep other people from doing similar stupid things. How's that sound? You guys good? Let's get into the advice. For context, I just got out of a serious long-term relationship 3 months ago, and then 3 weeks ago, I met this really great guy who seemingly has everything that I ever wanted in a man, almost like I manifested him. We both instantly connected on all levels, but he wants to take it further into a relationship down the line, and I don't. I just want to be in the moment and have fun with him. I don't want to think about commitment in the long haul. I take my relationships very seriously, so that's why I'm kind of exhausted, having just gotten out of one 3 months ago. My dilemma is I really don't want to date anyone right now, as I have a lot on my plate right now with my career, but the universe has provided me with an amazing guy who just, quote, has it all, end quote. And I'm wondering if I'll regret rejecting him in the future. I'm turning a relationship down because I said I would much rather date myself for some time after my previous unsuccessful relationship, and also because I don't really have the emotional bandwidth for a serious relationship. So the TLDR, advice needed if I'm rejecting someone I really like because I'm not ready for a serious relationship, having gotten out of one 3 months ago. How do I know I won't regret turning him down? Any advice is appreciated. This is a tough one, and I've sort of been in a similar place many, many years ago in the past, and I'm sure there are other people, and maybe even some of us on here, that have been at a point where, like, I just got out of a relationship and I don't have the bandwidth to do this. But Willie, I'll leave other things to you first to start it off for us.
To be very candid, there is no happy answer for this in my head. Good on you for being true to yourself, saying, yeah, I'm just not really ready for a relationship, and keeping that in the front of your mind. That's perfectly good. But the fact is that they do want a relationship. So, I mean, the best thing to do is to tell them that you don't want one. That is the answer. Tell them that you're not ready for a relationship right now. You're just, I guess I didn't hear the term, but you're just trying to have fun, which is perfectly A-okay for anybody. Let's see.
The thing I think they need to be careful of is, depending on how they express that, is to also not string this person along either.
Oh, 100%. That's why I said tell them.
Yeah, they need to be clear about the fact, like, I'm not ready to be in a relationship right now. I can't commit to any more than what this is, which is just hanging out. And if that's not what you want, that's fine. We'll go our separate ways in that regard. But don't string the guy along and being like, this is someone I really like that I might want to date at a later point, because that's not fair to either of them either.
Oh, I was going to say that too. Yeah. It's a sucky situation.
Yes.
That is just a given for how both of you feel. But I mean, but you also have to keep in mind that it's neither of you guys' fault for it being a sucky situation. It's just bad timing. That's all it is. It sounded like you did live in the moment for a bit, and I would say you just gotta come clean and say, I'm here for fun. If you're not, I understand that won't go that way. But I mean, you said they're 23, right?
Yes, that's what they said. 23.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't even worry about like the perfect guy. There's 22, no such thing as a perfect person for you.
The woman in question who wrote the post is 22, talking about a 26-year-old male.
Oh, 22. Well, either way, 22, 23 is the same
difference
thing
at that point in time.
Yeah, it's like it's whatever. You're gonna find someone else who checks all other boxes and doesn't check some things. It's just the thing. Like, it sounds like they just met this person not too long ago too, from what it sounds like.
That's what it sounded like to me also.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like you've been seeing them for like a long while, which I mean, of course you wouldn't be because what you said. But yeah, just be upfront with them, and if they can put that past, or if they can try to, if they want to, then yeah, try it out. If they can't, then yeah, it sucks, but say, well, hopefully we'll catch up, when I am ready. I mean, looking, forward to the future.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They just have to have that shitty conversation and be like, I can't commit to anything more than what this is. If you're fine with that, we continue doing what we're doing. And if you're not, go their separate ways. And who knows? Maybe
it's
6 months.
It's not a shitty conversation, Chris. I'm going to stop you right. It's not shitty. It just is a matter of fact conversation, because it's just the way it is. It sucks, but hey, you found someone who's awesome, and you had some awesome times.
I guess I should clarify. I'm saying it's shitty just because it's an uncomfortable conversation to have things like that. But it's a conversation you need to have. It's not you're being an asshole or anything like that. You just need to be clear and be like, look, this is just not what I can do right now. And I think the key thing, though, like I said, don't lead them on. Don't be like, well, I'm just not ready now. I might be in a little bit. Be like, I don't know when I will be.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially that doesn't sound like they have a frame in their mind. So no one needs to live by a time frame they set for themselves anyway, like that. Like, you don't know when you're ready or not. You just feel like, I think it feels good to be ready now. It's not a thing like, you know what? In 4 days, 3 hours, 22 minutes. 48, 49 seconds from now, I'm going to be good. First guy I see, marriage.
Right?
Like, doesn't work.
Like, no one does.
I don't know. I admire the person who posted this being straight up at the beginning and be like, look, I know I need time to myself after getting out of this.
Being a real Paul Abdul.
Long-term relationship. Good.
Yeah, and then, I don't know. Because, yeah, it's definitely a timing issue, but it's always that thing is like, oh, if you want something, stop looking for it. And so it's like, oh, I need to focus on myself. Oh, here's exactly what I've been looking for. It just showed up because I stopped looking for it.
Not what they're looking for. They just check off a lot of boxes for what they're looking for in a partner, if they were looking for a partner.
Okay. Working on yourself is never a bad thing.
Yes, that well said. And I think that's what the OP here is doing, is working on themselves, and it's like, oh shit, I really like this person. It's just I don't think I have the bandwidth to be able to do this.
And there's plenty of people who would probably check the same check the same boxes. Don't think there's just one person. I know it's like, goes against the grain. Like, there's the one person for me out there. The one is my soulmate. There's no such thing as a fucking soulmate. There's people you get along with and people you don't get along with.
It's you and 8 billion other humans. You'll find one that likes you. At
least until Willie has a chance to wipe out some.
Well, until Willie gets rid of half.
Well, if I wake up to be Superwoman tomorrow.
That'd still be 4 billion people. That's a lot of people.
Willie's going to wake up with that Infinity Gauntlet and just be like, snap a couple times, knock it down to 2 billion.
This is my snapping hand.
We're
I
safe.
can't snap with this hand.
Snap.
This one I can, but it can't do it right now.
We're safe. The snapping hand doesn't work. He can't snap us away.
Safe. Willie can't snap us.
I mean, Chris, I think you might be safe. because I'm only going to be wishing away assholes.
Bye, guys.
So that was.
Have you cut off someone this week? Have you cut off someone on the highway?
I haven't been on the highway.
I'm looking at him.
I haven't even driven on the highway this week. I drove to Jiffy Lube in 2 vehicles yesterday to get oil changes, but never got on the highway.
Did you use turn signals?
Yeah.
I swear to God, you better
driving
use
around in
goddamn
a
turn signals.
$60,000 Jeep that if I wreck my fiance would kill me. Yeah, I use
as
a turn
short
signal.
joke. If you ever feel useless in your life, just remember there's someone who puts turn signals on BMWs.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's their whole life.
That does wrap up Unprotected Advice. Some solid advice started out by Willie, and then Bachman and I were able to chime in with some solid follow-up stuff. But yeah, people thinking we were going to take this not seriously and give bullshit advice.
Ha!
We take this segment seriously. Now, we're not experts, but we've lived life, so sometimes we have our own opinions and can hopefully be helpful.
That is true.
That being said, it is time for us to start wrapping up the show, and how we do that each week is a little segment called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with the folks watching live or listening/watching at a later date the geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into, because hey, you guys hear about them, you hear us talk about it, you may want to go check it out yourselves. I will kick things off and say, well, I will be getting into this evening Star Trek Picard Season 3 Episode 1, because Star Trek Picard Season 3 has started, which is basically the reunion of the next-gen crew. So I am cautiously optimistic. I have to say cautiously because the first 2 seasons of Picard also started off strong but never stuck the landing. So I don't know if they're going to stick the landing or not. But the fact that they're bringing back the entire cast of Next Gen, I'm excited. I'm excited. I like it. It's good stuff. Other things
Riker's going to be stepping over chairs.
That's right. Well, you know the reason he does that, right?
Because he has huge
there's no
balls.
gravity?
Oh, he has huge balls. So
And
he
no
has to do the splits before he sits down.
Evidently, from what Jonathan Frakes was saying, it's because he has back issues, and that was the more comfortable way for him not to have to twist and move his back weird to get into a chair, was to step over and then drop down.
Well, and every Star Trek chair, they don't have high backs except for the captain's chair. So
and why do you think he has a bad back?
Because he has huge balls.
Huge balls.
I mean, Will Riker was quite the ladies' man in the
meaty
TV show.
clackers.
Well, and
as
also
Ruxa would say, meaty clackers.
To go back for relationship advice, you don't need big balls to be a ladies' man.
Okay.
It don't hurt.
I mean, do you want to hear the weirdest thing I ever was told?
No. I already know what you're going to say, so no.
Probably not out loud.
I don't think you do.
You've said it on this show before.
You know what? For those of you who don't know, because I don't know, tune in after show and I'll tell you. Because I'm curious if I told you or not. Because I was weirded out by it. I was like, what the fuck did you just say?
I'm pretty sure you've said it on this show before.
I might have. I'm
Probably.
crazy enough to do it.
Other stuff I'm getting into, playing Marvel's Midnight Suns on the Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
I enjoy the game a lot. I don't guess I've gotten far enough in the game that I get the Deadpool DLC even though I have it, so I'm very confused.
I don't know when he just appeared in my game when I started it up after the DLC. So, I mean, I'm just past the first act. So
I'm still in the first act, still unlocking a bunch of characters and stuff too. So I imagine that that's part of what's going on, is that I just haven't gotten to the point where he frees up in the game. But I'm having fun with it, although I get frustrated because early on, before you have a deck built up, they're like, you have to take out this helicopter. And if you don't do it in 5 turns, you die. So I'm sitting there and everyone has to attack the helicopter, because if they don't, it gets away. But everyone gets the shit kicked out of them while they're attacking a helicopter, and reinforcements keep coming in. Like, you got a 1 star on this battle. I'm like, well, yeah, because when I tried to, take 2 people to fight all the goons and 1 guy just to attack the helicopter, it got away. Fucking asshole game. Because I don't have the right kind of attacks to be able to do what it's asking for me.
I hate mission objectives like that.
There are some weird ones. Have you pretty much kind of got a handle of killing most of everybody in 1 turn?
Yes.
Yeah, it does kind of dumb down. I wish the damage you receive doesn't so detrimental to you. But I mean, I get it. I wish they would have worked that off so you can hit the enemies more and also be hit more. I want more of a dynamic fight.
I mean, some people are good tanks out there. Like Captain Marvel's a tank, especially if you go to the.
He should be.
Or the no, excuse me, the Carol Danvers one. Sorry.
No, she should be too. Yeah.
As opposed to what other Captain Marvel?
Well, there was a male Captain Marvel.
I know, but I mean
the first two. Captain
Well, you didn't say
guys.
Marvel.
But he was also called Captain Marvel in the comics. And other stuff
fuck him. He's dead probably anyway.
And Quasar. The first two Captain Marvels were guys.
They're probably dead too.
So I've been playing that. I've been having a lot of fun with that. Although I may take a pause on that because tomorrow one of my favorite RPGs of all time gets re-released and I'll be able to play it on the Switch. Will, you look like you're thinking?
What is this? The Mass Effect Switch Edition?
Oh, I did hear about that.
No, it's not Mass Effect Switch Edition.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Go ahead, Willie.
Tales of Symphonia.
Yes, Tales of Symphonia.
I did see that. It took a second to click.
It is one of my favorite JRPGs. I played it back on the GameCube shortly, like a couple years after it came out. And here's the funny thing. The GameCube release is still the best release of this game to have come out in 20 plus years because it is the only release of Tales of Symphonia that plays at 60 frames per second. Even the remastered versions only play at 30 frames per second. Because I guess they lost most of the source code for the GameCube version, so all of the remasters since have been based off the PS2/PS3 version, which could not get to 60 frames per second. You have it too on GameCube. I do as well.
Let's see, 2 discs.
2 discs.
2 discs.
God, those little mini discs.
Yep. I knew it was on my shelf.
You can flip that for $50-$60 right now.
Hey, Chris, you got $56 you want to give me?
I have my own copy in the garage.
But you could have 2.
Why do
AKA 4 whole discs.
And here's the funny thing. I bought that, how I got my GameCube many, many years ago. I want to say it was probably like 2005, 2006. Is I was working a summer internship and there was a used game store across the parkway from where I worked, where I would go to get lunch. So I went to go get lunch one day at my summer hire job and walked into the used game store and I was like, man, I'm making good summer hire money. Maybe it's time to get me a new video game system. And I got a GameCube, Tales of Symphonia, one of the Zeldas, and something else for like $60.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you mean one of the Zeldas?
I don't remember which Zelda
there
it was.
There was only one.
No, because they did I can't remember if I got the re-release, not the release, the Ocarina of Time Master Quest disc there or not at that time.
That was technically a pre-order
correct.
bonus for the
Willie, Twilight Princess came out on GameCube also, by the way.
Well, I know, but at the time of you buying
that is true. I did buy Twilight Princess on my GameCube years later because I didn't buy a Wii at the time.
I only got it for the Wii because why downgrade if you don't?
I didn't own a Wii.
I didn't either. I waited.
Yeah, well, I wanted to play it. You
Just
do know the difference.
Patience.
So, real random trivia thing I've probably said on this show before. You guys do know the difference between the Twilight Princess release for GameCube and Wii, right?
Yes, it's mirrored because Link's left-handed.
That's right.
And they made him right-handed.
Many people are right-handed, so you're waggling the Wiimote with your right hand, and they didn't want to confuse people like, ha ha!
Yeah. So if you're playing Twilight Princess on GameCube, you gotta check your strategy guide because if it tells you to go right, you can make sure you're looking at a strategy guide for the GameCube version, not the Wii version. Random side note.
I mean, all they did was just mirror the entire game. It's like they reversed it upside. No, I guess they're just presenting it to you mirrored.
You are correct. And then there was a Nintendo Direct last week, I think, where they'd announced a bunch of stuff, including a new trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, the new Zelda game, and it did come out. That game will retail for $70 when it comes out. So
sure,
whatever. But what was really cool, and I didn't know was coming that they talked about there, and I believe it's available digitally and will be available physically next week, is Metroid Prime Remastered. Metroid Prime is a fantastic game I have not played in ages. I think I will drop the $40 to pick up Metroid Prime Remastered.
Especially with modern control systems.
Yes.
Oh, because that game on GameCube was rough to play. Like if you try to go back to it now, okay.
And by all accounts,
that little tiny C stick did jack shit for moving your camera.
By all accounts, this is a really good remaster, so I'm excited to go and play it. I just haven't decided. My back catalog is so huge on things, but the thing is, Nintendo games never go on sale, so I might as well just buy it. Especially the remastered ones, they never go on sale.
Yeah, they don't tend to have actual sales like PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah. And then there's the other thing I've been getting into is I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole on this, and I don't know why, it just makes me laugh. There's a bunch of different YouTube video game guys who play on GTA 5 RP servers, and watching people play role-playing version of GTA 5 is hilarious to me. For those who aren't aware, they've built up like all these secondary apps and stuff to install over top of GTA 5 on PC to basically have a role-playing server out of it. It's telling stories where you role-play the whole time. There's some genuinely funny shit on there of people running from cops, of kidnapping people to rob banks and stuff like that. And it just leads to some funny stuff. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of GTA 5 role-playing stuff on YouTube and Twitch lately, and I don't know why, but I'm having fun just laughing at it because there's legitimately hilarious stuff.
I'm just jealous.
Chris is watching a lot of funny kidnappings.
I mean, some of it's kidnappings. But that's what I've been getting into.
I watch horror movies, so.
Bachman, what about you? What you been getting into?
We've been watching a weird show on Netflix called The Extraordinary Attorney Woo, which is like a real family-friendly, strange Korean show about an attorney with autism. Really strange show, but really well made. Real kind of tug at the heartstrings a little bit. Really nice, family friendly show. But yeah, it's just we've been enjoying that one. We had been watching How to Get Away with Murder and just kind of got sick of it. It just kept after 2 seasons, now this show's not fun anymore. So we're looking for other things to watch. We burned through the whole first season of Lockwood and Co., which I found out is by I can't think of the guy's name now, but he did Attack the Block. I want to say his name's Joe Carney, but that's wrong. I can't remember the director's name. But yeah, he did Lockwood and Co., which is ghost investigations in a world set in London where ghosts become physical spectrals that we can see in the real world, but only children under 18 can see them. And so it builds up this world where basically anybody from 13 to 18 are employed as supernatural ghostbusters, and then once you become an adult you lose the ability to see them, and if you get touched by a ghost in this world you just die. So it's this really crazy messed up world, but it was really, really interesting and really solid first season of a show. And they did a great ending to where it wraps up but then gives you a little tiny tease of what could come next. Watched the Night House movie on HBO Max, which was not as cool as the trailer made it seem. It was a little disappointing but wasn't bad. Just an okay movie. Looking forward to this week. We got our tickets for Ant-Man and Quantumania. Then I'm trying to think what else
coming out.
Yeah, Friday.
It's this weekend.
Oh, shit, tomorrow.
Yeah. Technically, I think it's actually launching tonight.
Probably midnight or 10 p.m. release.
Yeah,
I thought it went until March.
Yeah, no, it's this week, man. I got to keep the news streak going. Every Marvel movie opening day, which I count that as Friday. And so when they do 3-day Pride, it's no, it's Friday is still going to be opening day numbers for the weekend. So, other than that, dropped 4 or 5 more hours into God of War. I played one killer match on the PTB for the new killer on DVD, and another DLC I won't be paying for. Someone's not a cyborg.
Pay for it. What?
No, if you want to buy the killer and the 2 new survivors, you do.
No, you use iridescent shards that you earn in game. I already have a shit ton of them.
Yeah, but yeah, it's another boring killer. It's a chick that wears a mask for no reason, and people are calling her a cyborg, but she's wearing an arm that's strapped to her arm, so it's not in part of her body, so it's not cybernetic. It looks like they got a group of 12-year-olds together and said, who should the new killer be? Oh, Gore Wolverine with skull drones.
Well, what do they call it? The Skull Merchant, and the people are like, what's Skull Merchant mean? And it's just her. It's
yeah,
okay.
It means nothing, and it's so bad. But yeah, so
Shelter Woods got to work.
Yeah, which looks okay. I did play the match I was on in Shelter Woods. That doesn't look bad. So yeah, just one more DLC I won't be paying for. I'm speaking with my dollar with behavior. I am not buying shit from them. But yeah, did put 4 or 5 more hours into the God of War Ragnarok. Just enjoying the hell out of the game. It's so much fun. Went through the whole sequence where you're playing with Freya as your partner, as Kratos, so that sequence was awesome. Like they keep changing up like who you're running around with and those other people's abilities. So it's kind of cool because part of the game you're controlling Loki, Atreus. Part of the game he's got a dwarf with him. Part of the game he's got another like lost hidden giant character. You got Freya, you got Kratos. Sometimes you're actually by yourself and you're just solo fighting through sequences. So it's really cool how they change things up in the sequel. And this game is just fun as hell. I'm looking forward to beating it and then, at some point replaying it. But yeah, just enjoying the hell of it, not trying to rush through it. And then I got me another, was it last weekend? Yeah, I got a bonus check from Alaska. So I went and dropped a couple $100 on Warhammer stuff. So I got me an Age of Sigmar pack, which has 2 Stormcast Eternals in it. And I'm trying to think where's it at? There is a box behind my head there. That one, I should have grabbed it. That's got 19 Chaos Space Marines in it. So it's a big old box that I talked back and forth with my soon-to-be nephew, who is big into Warhammer, and went over like what characters I should get, what characters I should like start building my army with. And with that box, once I have it finished and built, I'll have basically 500 points of a 2,000 point army. So I'm a quarter away to like actually having an entire army to play a match with. Got myself some new paints, some another brushes, all sorts of little tiny stuff. And then found one of the things I'd really been looking forward to. I got myself a wet palette. So it's actually a palette that's got a sponge underneath it that you wet. And then you basically have pieces of parchment paper that you lay on top of it. And when you keep it sealed, the paint that you use on it can be reused for multiple days. And so instead of just pouring paint out on a dry palette, it dries up, you rinse it off, you lose it. This can keep your paints going. And so I got my next Space Marine and I got a base coat on him. So today after this, I'll actually be gluing him together. And then the Stormcast Elementals is the first box ones where they come on, I think it's called a sprue, where it's the card and you actually clip the pieces off and put them together. And so I actually put together my very first cutting the pieces off of a card, Stormcast Elemental. These guys have like some really cool lore. I've just been watching a ton of videos on them. They're the humans from the Age of Sigmar. And in this realm, basically, you have to die as a hero. And then if you die as a hero, you get put through they call it the Storm Forge. And you come back as a bolt of lightning. And every time you die, you get resurrected again. And each time you get a little bit more powerful, but you lose a little bit more of your soul and your memory. And so you get these great warriors who are these badasses who have died a couple times and have, lightning hammers and all this crazy stuff, all the way down to these guys, which are basically, they wear a mask over their face and it's just gold like the rest of their armor, because at some point you basically forget who you are and they're just automatons that throw lightning. So, some really cool lore stuff. The idea of, the dehumanization of war kind of made solid and easily told in the lore. And then while working on these guys, I've been reading through the first Dab Abnett, the Horus Hearsay novel, which I guess it's like a 53 book series, which I watched a YouTube video on it. So the first book is like the very start where they don't know that like the chaos gods exist yet, all the way through like in the 53rd book is when like Horus tries to take out the God Emperor. So it's one of like the biggest book series ever, and it's just insane. I don't think I'm going to be reading all of them, but Dab Abnett is a hell of a writer. He did some great stuff on Marvel, and I'm really enjoying the first book. So I'm gonna read this one, and probably get the Eisenhorn trilogy, which is one of the like really good jumping on points for Warhammer. But yeah, just enjoying the stories, learning the lore. I got the Tacticus game on my iPad, so in between matches of Snap, where I finally got frickin' Luke Cage, so I could build my sturdy deck, which I've been waiting to make that, and just it's not working as well as I want. I need to kind of move some of the cards around. I did do an update to my Patriot Surfer deck and change it to a Patriot Onslaught deck after the last update. And since I've done that, I played with the tracker on the other day, and I think I went 8 for 10 matches with my Patriot Onslaught deck. So like it's playing fairly well. It's got more maneuverability than a lot of my other decks, where basically any card I pull out is going to up my characters, and so things work well with that deck. It's flexible. And yeah, that's about it. And then yeah, like I was telling Christopher the pre-show, just got a notification my invitations are on the way. So we doing wedding shit. We got shit to do in the next couple of months, man. There's no time and too much to do.
Well, Willie, why don't you finish things up for us, good buddy? What you been getting into?
Well, first thing, last Saturday, I watched the greatest episode of The Last of Us so far. God, that show is what I've been waiting for. It's been such a dream. Such a dream.
Yeah, it's really good.
So good, so good, so good. If you haven't watched it, I hope it's because you're waiting for it to all be out so you can binge it. If not, what are you doing? But I have slacked a little bit. I did get I also got some movies that I haven't actually watched yet. But I did get them because they all came with digital copies too. But I remember seeing something about this and it looked kind of interesting. But Bodies. With
watch it on Amazon. It is interesting.
I have not seen that one.
What's his name? What's his nuts from Saturday Night Live? Pete Davidson. Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer. I was like, okay, I'll watch it.
Pete Davidson's everything right now.
And since I never saw, or since I've already seen the first two, and this one came out, I was like, you know what? I should probably own it so I can see it. Clerks 3.
Clerks 3 is fucking good.
With the sign, the same sign. If you play in the shoplift, please let us know.
Please let us know.
There you go. I know the glare is horrendous.
Kevin Smith drops a line in that movie that made me tear up. It is a motherfucker. It's good.
And also the last movie, which I was surprised it was already out on video because this was just in theaters like in the middle of December, I think. But so I've yet to see it, and I need to. Violent Night with
I didn't know
David
that was
Harbour.
Already.
Yeah, David Harbour.
That one I want to see.
Yeah, it was already out, and I was like, okay, I'll take it.
Willie's gonna have some violent nights when he watches that.
And who knows? I could probably plug in the Wii and play some Tales of Symphonia.
Sure, it would play backwards compatible on there.
Oops, that fell in the crevice.
Never to be seen again.
It's gone.
Stomp
forever.
on the crevice.
Oh my!
Don't stomp on the crevice.
Yikes! Hey, who's the one giving relationship advice here?
All of us.
Who's the one?
Not you. If you start telling people
who's
to
it
stomp
named
on the
after,
crevice.
Chris?
Well, I mean that can be changed.
It can be, but it doesn't change the fact that it already was. We could rewrite history or solve a mystery.
I was hoping you
DuckTales.
Woohoo!
Friendly reminder, though, don't forget if you go to unprotectedadvice.com, that takes you to all of our episodes of the show in which we've done this segment. So have fun with that, friends.
Definitely have fun with that.
Assuming it still works. I guess you should check, make sure that redirect is still working.
Son of a bitch. Other than that, let me see. I know I've seen Last of Us. Oh, and I've also saw all of it, and I'm telling you not to ever do it. I watched all of Velma.
Oh, we watched the first episode, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Oh yeah. I want to hear about this. If you want to watch a cartoon show within the first 30 seconds, you see two cockroaches fucking each other, go for it. That's perfect for you then.
And that's the best part of the episode?
Yeah, it's just a bad show. Like the worst character in the show is Velma. She's just a bitch. She's a straight up bitch. She's unlikable. There's nothing to like about the character, yet this is the main character. Goes out of her way to piss everyone off and then unapologetically just says, get over it. Yeah, it is a terrible show. I don't understand the writing. They're trying to be snarky, but in a way too snarky way. Like we're trying to be tongue in cheek. Get it?
Yeah, but that's the problem, is that the way they wrote it, they go, get it, get it, get it, get it! Instead of just moving on to the joke. Yeah. It's basically written by people that hate Scooby-Doo, is what it is.
Pretty much.
Oh, Scooby's not in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's awful.
That was one of the conditions of the show. They couldn't have Scooby in it.
Wait, why?
When they wanted to do this spin-off with people looking different than was expected based on what was in the cartoons and stuff like that, my understanding was Warner said, yeah, you can do the spin-off, but you can't have Scooby in it.
They do use Scooby as an acronym for a head transplant thing, but I'm spoiling everything. It's fuck this show. Don't watch it. It's shitty.
Yeah. So they weren't actually allowed to have Scooby-Doo in the show, is what it comes down to.
Fair enough. It's just I just don't understand some of the choices they make. Like Daphne and Fred, like that's whatever. Like they're just saying Fred's a white cis male, so he's automatically the devil in the show. They make that a point to make fun of him just for that multiple times, which is whatever. Like I can get on board with that, but just when you're just doing it to be hateful, when they're not hateful towards you,
if it's good writing.
Yeah, not good writing at all.
It's not.
It is fucking terrible, right? I don't even care that Velma and Daphne are wanting to date. That's whatever. I can get behind that. I don't give a shit about that. But just everything else, oh my god, it's just fucking horrible. Like, I just want to end on that bad note and saying I'm done. That's everything. Just fuck off.
That's fair. That's fair. I can tell you this, Willie. I didn't have any intention of watching it, and you have helped me continue that thought that I don't care to watch the show, mostly because of just how terrible everyone has described it to be.
The only reason I finished it is because it's a train wreck. I couldn't avert my eyes. Like, I gotta see it. I gotta see how bad this gets, because it's already bad. It's really bad.
It's fair.
Like, the writing is bad.
Yeah, it's a train wreck that I turned off after the first episode. It's like, nope, I'm not giving them the views.
Better man than I. Oh, I did forget one other thing I've been getting into. It was a show on Netflix. It's called The Recruit. I started watching that and knocked out the first 8 episodes of season 1. It was pretty fun. The same guy that that was the showrunner of some of Nathan Fillion's other shows did it. It's a fun little CIA-ish kind of thing where the whole premise is this guy is a lawyer at the CIA and finds himself getting pulled into all sorts of covert ops and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And it was only 8 episodes too, like 50 minutes piece, 8 episodes.
So is Nathan Fillion in it?
Do you want a spoiler?
Well, you mentioned like the showrunner who did a lot of other Nathan Fillion shows is in it, so I'm assuming he's in it.
Fillion
is it a secret?
Nathan Fillion appears in kind of a cameo / Easter egg.
That's good enough.
The final episode as the CIA director.
Oh,
nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. And he starts dropping curse bombs and stuff like that because they fuck up an op. So it's great.
As long as it's just as good as Brendan Fraser as Robot Man. Fuck!
He does let them know the hammer is my penis.
This is true. So if you get a chance, go check that out on Netflix. It's only 8 episodes, and they're like 50 minutes a pop, so you can knock that out pretty quick. I was listening / watching to that while I was working on one of my painting projects, which I'll show when I finally get that done.
Nice.
If you want more info, go to my Instagram, instagram.com/thechrisfarrell to find that. On that note, though, we're going to start shutting things down, and there's a storm rolling in, so you saw since I turned on my lights on. Everything got really dark in here. I apologize.
It was dark outside. Now it's bright.
It's bright as hell out there, Willie.
Storm left Willie and went to Chris's.
Right.
Here, let me blind it with my head.
Willie's ascending into heaven, it looks
like.
I'm
gonna melt my damn camera because it's the
shine.
But we are going to shut things down. A friendly reminder, we do stream the show live each week or so. Stay tuned to the social medias. We'll let you guys know what our schedule is. It's kind of in a semi-constant flux right now. We'll let you guys know what's going on. Life gets in the way sometimes. I apologize. Yes, Willie?
If you're listening at a later date, not live, if you're curious what I'm going to say after the show, just send me a Twitter message, and I'll tell you what I'm going to say.
At South Porky. Have you gotten a Mastodon yet?
South Porky.
Ooh. You're not on Mastodon yet?
No, I don't have a Dragon Zord, or not a Dragon. I don't have a Zoid.
I wish I had a Dragon Zord.
If Mastodon started giving away Dragon Zords, I'm just saying it would up the people using their website.
Well, I was thinking like the Black Ranger got a Mastodon, didn't he?
Yes, he did have a Mastodon. Then he had a Black Lion at some point in time in Mighty Morphin.
Ooh, Black Lion. Ooh, careful with that. Voltron's going to get on you.
So we are going to shut things down. Thank you for joining us. Friendly reminder, we stream live. Other shows in the network stream live. You can find those at www.geeks.live. If you want to get in touch with us, we're on the social media. But honestly, the best way now is we have our own channel on the Gonna Geek Discord. Go to gonnageek.com/Discord. There is a channel there for all things good and nerdy, in addition to a variety of other channels to talk to other members of the community where we geek out, talk about weird stuff, talk about news, make fun of Elon Musk and Twitter. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Go check it out, gonnageek.com/Discord. Before we shut this thing down, you guys have any final thoughts for the people?
Who do you think shoots herself in the foot more, Netflix or Elon Musk?
Well, Elon spent $45 billion to kill Twitter right now, so I think it's him at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's winning. Yeah. But I know what he can't do is he can't pin the tribal chief, because after 900 days, nobody can.
Sami Zayn should.
That's longest I have run, no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Longest run in the WWE.
Even longer than some of the guys from the pre-television eras?
It says it's the longest reign in 30 plus years. So it may be pre-television, but you were talking pre-90s. So yeah, it's the longest run in 30 years. So
interesting.
Yep.
Well, on that
note, head of the table, motherfuckers.
We are going to start shutting things down. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And please, just stay tuned. Come join us for the next live episode. www.geeks.live. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.